We see celebrities constantly reinventing themselves. Maybe it's a singer who is entering a new era and releasing a new album. It could be an actor who is going to be playing a new role and we'll see them completely transform themselves. And suddenly their image, their energy, and even their personality will feel completely refreshed. But this video is not about celebrities. This video is about you. What if I told you that you don't need to be a celebrity to reinvent yourself? Reinventing yourself is actually a very healthy, normal, and necessary part of life. My name is Annie, and this is the Elevation Edits, where we talk all things self-improvement, developing healthy habits, and just becoming the best version of yourself. Reinvention means intentionally changing the way you think, behave, and show up in the world so that it aligns more closely with the person who you want to become. It's not about pretending, faking a personality, or becoming somebody completely different. It's about evolving. We don't all remain the same throughout life. If we remain the same, then that means that you haven't grown. Reinventing yourself is about letting go of old habits, environments, or mindsets that no longer serve you. Adjusting your life so that it matches your values and your goals, and stepping into a new era with clearer identity, confidence, and purpose. So why is reinventing yourself so important? Now, it's important because we outgrow old versions of ourselves, and that is completely normal. We hope to never stay in stagnation, and growing, developing new habits, becoming better versions of ourselves signals a very healthy mindset. You're stagnant, you feel unfulfilled, then reinventing yourself can help you step into a version of yourself that is more fulfilled, able to break old bad habits, basically level up. So first of all, we're going to start with the signs that you might need a reinvention. Firstly, if you are feeling very bored or unfulfilled, that might be a sign that you need to reinvent yourself. We find ourselves in the same situation and environment, and that can go on for years, and after some time, naturally you might just start feeling bored. That could be a sign that you need to make some changes. Another sign is if you have outgrown your circle. So if you are looking around with your friends and the people that are around you, and you just find that your beliefs and who you are doesn't really align with them anymore, then it might be a sign that you need to reinvent yourself. Another sign is if you just know that you're capable of more, that could be a sign that it's time for you to make some changes. If you keep replaying the same habits, keep making the same mistakes, that could also be a sign that you need to make some changes. You shouldn't take these feelings as a crisis, but an invitation for positive change. So now I'm going to be giving you the step-by-step formula of how you're going to reinvent yourself. First step, and this is actually the most important step, is you need to audit your current self. You need to admit to yourself who you are right now. You need to be very brutally honest. And I would suggest grabbing yourself a notebook and writing at the top of the page, current self. And on that page, you are going to write down the habits that you do right now. Where you're at, that's what you're going to be writing down on this current self or current me page. How are you spending your days at the moment? Are you being productive? Are you making the most of your days? And if not, when we get to the next page, then you'll know what to write on there. But you need to be thinking, how are you spending your days? And you need to be as detailed as possible, because if you're vague, then it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to reinvent yourself. So we need to be detailed in this. Who do I give my energy and time to? Are these people inspiring you? Are they making you feel like the best version of yourself? Do you feel good around these people? Or are they draining you? Do you feel deflated afterwards? How am I treating my body? Are you nourishing your body with healthy foods that are nutritious and nourishing? Or are you spending your days eating foods that are very poor and not very good for you? So think about how you're treating your body. Are you going to the gym? Are you working out? Are you even moving at least? A really good one to write down would be, what are your top 3 negative patterns? So identify 3 things that you do that are negative and are maybe holding you back and preventing you from reaching your fullest potential. What things are you avoiding? So are there things that you are avoiding? You know you need to sort this out, you know you need to do that, but you're just consistently avoiding doing it. You need to write down how you currently feel. So current me feels, and then just say how you feel and be very honest with yourself. Do you feel energetic? Do you feel good about yourself? Or do you feel down? Do you feel depressed? Write these things down. Write down exactly how you feel at the moment, because that's the only way you're going to be able to make changes, is if you're brutally honest with yourself. Okay, so we're going to move move on, and we need to move on to defining our future self. So imagine yourself in 6 to 12 months from now. Where will you be and how do you want to be? Just envision it. How does she dress? How does she talk to herself? What would a normal Tuesday look like for her? What does she eat? How does she handle stress? These are the sort of things that you want to write down and include on that page. We are not going to write down, I want to be better, because what does that mean? Better how? Better for who? We need to be as specific as possible. I would recommend writing it down in present tense. So when you're writing down how you want to be in 6 to 12 months time, do it in present tense. So instead of just writing, I want to work out 5 times a week, you'll write down, I go to the gym 5 times per week. So you're writing it in present tense as if you're already there. And that's because that is going to become like our identity script. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to identify the gap. So you need to look at your current self and then your future self, and then I need to identify, just pick 3 things that you're going to focus on, because when we focus on too many things at once, then nothing is ever achieved. So we're going to focus on just 3 things, and you need to identify things that have a wide gap. So I would choose things with the widest gap. So it could be that your current self is very chaotic and you don't know how to keep your space tidy, but your future self is very organized and keeps themselves tidy. So there's a gap there that you've identified and you're going to work on that area. So choose 3 things and write it down. And these are going to become what we call reinvention pillars. So we're going to have 3 pillars, and the whole transformation will be built around those 3 pillars. So the next thing that we need to do is we are going to build systems. We're not going to just set goals. And I've spoken about this in quite a bit of detail in a previous video. I'm going to put a link somewhere up here. It's so important that we build systems, and that's because when we say a goal, it sounds nice, it's great, but our brain needs to understand how to achieve that goal. So please watch my video on how to stop restarting goals, and I go into so much detail. Let's say, for example, your 3 pillars are organization, health, and discipline. So for the organization pillar, the system that you might build around that would be planning weekly. So rather than planning on the day and making yourself feel stressed and overwhelmed, you might decide to plan on a Sunday and then get your whole week planned out so that you feel a little bit ahead of the game. Rather than allowing dirty clothes to pile up and never washing your dishes, you might decide to build a system where you're doing a daily 10-minute reset. So 10 minutes to just wash dishes, fold your laundry, and just make your space a little bit more tidy. And if you do that every single day, you'll find that your space overall will be way more tidier and just nicer to be in. So those are a few examples that you could do, systems that you could start to build in to help you to achieve the organization pillar. Moving on to the health pillar, it could be that your diet is very poor at the moment, and rather than continuing with that, you might decide that I'm going to do a 20-minute non-negotiable walk to get some more exercise in. You might decide that you're going to include 1 high-protein meal that you repeat on most days. So there's things that you can build into your day that becomes a system rather than just setting a goal and then it never happens. With discipline, you might decide to commit yourself to finishing tasks before you start a new one. We're going to move on to editing your environment. This part is really important for reinventing yourself. You cannot reinvent yourself. You cannot become a better version of yourself if you stay in the same environment that is draining you. On your phone, that could be unfollowing people who trigger feelings of comparison and following people who make you feel inspired. In your physical space, you might decide to do a wardrobe audit and remove and get rid of clothes. Maybe you might decide to donate some clothes that you feel no longer fits your current self and how you want to dress and show up. You might decide to dedicate a corner in your house, in your space, where this is the area where I work and I work on my goals. So it just depends on what you want to do. Basically, you need to decide what your future self will tolerate, how your future self will behave, always thinking about how your future elevated version of yourself would act. You need to start acting like your future self before you even get there. And the reason why is because your brain will catch up. If you start behaving like the person that you want to become, your brain will catch up to it. You'll find yourself just doing things, just falling into new positive habits without even thinking about it. So start to act like that person before you even get there. You need to always be thinking, what would my future self do? And even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, even if people don't get it, you need to do this for you. Thank you so much for reaching the end of this video. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear whether you are going to be reinventing yourself in 2026. Hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more content from me. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.